Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Emma, the English podcast, where we help you improve your English through fun and natural conversations. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Whether you're listening while walking, relaxing at home, driving to work, or studying English, we're really happy you're here with us today.
And before we start today's episode, we have a small request. If you enjoy learning English with our conversations, don't forget to follow the podcast and share it with a friend who is also learning English.
Yes, learning English becomes much easier when you practice together. Today's topic is interesting, but also a little confusing for many English learners.
Very true. Today, we're going to talk about 3 expressions that sound similar but are actually used differently.
Those expressions are wish, want, and would like.
Now, at first, they may look simple, but many English learners often stop in the middle of a sentence and think, should I say I wish? Or should I say I want? Or maybe, should I say I would like?
Exactly. And sometimes using the wrong one can make your sentence sound too strong, too formal, or even a little strange.
For example, imagine you go to a restaurant and say to the waiter, I want coffee.
That sentence is grammatically correct, but it can sound a little direct or even rude in some situations.
Yes, native speakers usually say something softer like, I would like a coffee.
Exactly. And this is why today's lesson is important, because these 3 expressions help you sound more natural and polite in English.
Let me ask you a simple question. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
That's easy. I want to visit Japan. I've always wanted to see Tokyo and Kyoto. What about you?
I think I would like to visit Italy, especially the countryside. Good food, beautiful views, and peaceful villages.
That sounds amazing. But here's a funny question. Is there something you wish you could do right now?
Yes, I wish I could take a vacation tomorrow.
Same here. I wish I didn't have so many emails waiting for me today.
And look, in just a few sentences, we used want, would like, and wish.
Exactly. But the meaning of each one is slightly different, so let's break them down one by one.
Let's start with the easiest word, want.
This word is very direct. It simply expresses a desire for something.
You use want when you say what you desire, need, or plan to have. For example, I want coffee. I want a new phone. I want to learn English.
Very simple. And the structure is usually want plus noun or want plus to plus verb. Examples: I want water. I want to sleep. I want to travel.
This word is very common in everyday English, but there's something important to remember.
Yes. Sometimes want can sound a little too strong in polite situations. For example, imagine you're in a restaurant. If you say, I want a sandwich, it sounds a bit like you're giving an order.
Exactly. It's not terrible, but it's not very polite either. This is why native speakers often prefer another expression.
And that expression is would like.
This phrase is basically a polite version of want. It expresses desire, but in a softer and more polite way.
For example, instead of saying, I want coffee, you can say, I would like coffee.
Or even more naturally, I'd like a coffee.
Native speakers shorten it most of the time. Examples: I'd like some water. I'd like to order pizza. I'd like to learn Spanish.
Notice the structure: would like plus noun, or would like plus to plus verb.
Exactly.
Exactly. Let's imagine we are in a cafe, and you are the customer.
All right.
Hello, what would you like to order?
I'd like a cappuccino, please.
Sure. Anything else?
Yes, I'd like a slice of chocolate cake.
Perfect. And that conversation sounds polite and natural.
So here's the key difference. Want equals direct desire.
Would like equals polite desire.
Let's compare them. Example 1. I want some water.
I'd like some water.
Both are correct, but the second one sounds more polite.
Let's practice quickly. Which sentence sounds more polite? 1. I want a coffee. 2. I'd like a coffee.
The answer is number 2. I'd like a coffee.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the third word, wish.
And this one is different from the other two, because wish is not usually about real things you can get easily.
Instead, wish is used for things that are difficult, impossible, or unreal.
For example, I wish I could fly.
Or, I wish I had more time.
These things are not simple desires. They express something imaginary, unlikely, or impossible.
I wish I were taller. I wish I had more money. I wish I could travel the world.
Notice something interesting here. After wish, the grammar often changes. We sometimes use past tense even though we are talking about the present.
For example, I wish I had more free time, but we are talking about now, not the past.
This happens because wish expresses an unreal situation. Okay, tell me, what is something you wish you could do?
I wish I could speak 10 languages.
That would be impressive.
What about you?
I think I wish I could play the piano.
That's a good one. Meanwhile, I wish I could wake up early every morning without feeling tired.
That might be the most difficult wish of all. Let's quickly review. Want, direct desire. Example, I want pizza.
Want, direct desire. Example, I want pizza.
Would like, polite way to express that desire. Example, I'd like pizza.
Would like, polite way to express that desire. Example, I'd like pizza.
Wish, unreal, difficult, or imaginary. Example, I wish I had pizza right now.
Wish, unreal, difficult, or imaginary. Example, I wish I had pizza right now. But we are not finished yet, because wish has several different uses.
Yes, we learned that want expresses a direct desire, would like is a polite way to express that desire, and wish is usually used for something that is unreal, difficult, or imaginary.
But now we're going to go deeper into wish, because this word has some interesting grammar patterns that confuse many English learners.
Yes, and once you understand these patterns, you'll start hearing them everywhere in movies, conversations, and songs.
Let's begin with something very common. Sometimes we use wish to talk about a present situation that we want to be different. In this case, we usually use this structure, wish plus past tense.
Now, this sounds strange at first because we are talking about the present, but we use past tense grammar. But remember, the past tense here doesn't actually mean the past. It simply shows that the situation is unreal. Example 1. I wish I had more free time.
This means I don't have enough free time right now.
Exactly. Example 2. I wish I lived near the beach.
That means the person does not live near the beach.
Example 3. I wish I knew how to cook better.
Meaning, right now, the person doesn't feel confident about cooking. Let me ask you something. Is there anything about your daily routine that you wish were different?
Oh yes, definitely. I wish I woke up earlier in the morning.
That's a good one. I wish I had more energy in the mornings.
And I also wish my coffee machine worked faster.
That's a very practical wish.
Another common use of wish is when we talk about abilities we don't have.
For example, I wish I could swim. I wish I could drive. I wish I could speak French.
Again, this expresses something that is not true right now.
Is there a skill you wish you had?
I wish I could play the guitar.
That would be cool. I wish I could draw well.
Same here. My drawings look like they were made by a 5-year-old.
Honestly, mine might look worse.
Now, here's another interesting structure. Sometimes we use wish plus would.
Yes, and we use this when we are talking about something annoying that we want to change. Wish plus someone or something plus would. I wish the rain would stop. I wish my neighbor would turn down the music. I wish my phone would stop ringing.
In these sentences, we are expressing frustration.
Yes, we want something to change in the future.
Here's a real-life example. Last night, my neighbor was playing loud music, and I remember thinking, I wish that music would stop.
Did it stop?
Eventually, but it took a long time.
I had a similar situation once. My alarm clock kept ringing every 5 minutes, and I thought, I wish this alarm would just stop.
That's a very relatable wish.
Now let's compare wish and want, because this is where many English learners make mistakes.
Let's look at two sentences. Sentence 1, I want more free time. Sentence 2, I wish I had more free time.
Both express desire, but the tone is different.
Yes, want sounds direct and practical, but wish sounds more emotional or imaginary.
I want a new car. I wish I had a new car.
The second sentence often suggests that the car is difficult to get. Now let's compare wish and would like.
Remember, would like is mostly used for polite requests or plans. For example, I'd like some coffee. I'd like to visit London.
But if you say, I wish I could visit London, that means the trip is probably not possible right now. I'd like to travel to Paris next year. A possible plan. I wish I could travel to Paris.
Now let's talk about a mistake many English learners make. Sometimes learners say, I wish to have coffee. Technically, this is grammatically possible, but it sounds very formal and unnatural in everyday conversation.
Native speakers almost never say that. Instead, they say, I'd like a coffee, or I want coffee.
Let's do a quick practice. Which sentence sounds more natural in a cafe? 1. I wish to drink coffee. 2. I'd like a coffee.
The answer is number 2. I'd like a coffee.
Let's create a small story using these expressions. Imagine a young man named Daniel.
Daniel works in a busy office. Every morning, he wakes up early and goes to work.
But sometimes he feels tired, and he thinks, I wish I had more time to relax.
During lunch break, he looks at travel photos online and he says, I wish I could travel the world.
But for now, he has responsibilities. So instead, he says, I'd like to take a vacation next year.
And every Friday, he says something very simple. I want pizza tonight.
And honestly, that might be the most realistic wish of all. All right, let's test our listeners with a few examples. I'll say a situation and we'll choose the best expression. You are ordering food in a restaurant.
You should say, I'd like pasta, please.
You are dreaming about having more free time.
You could say, I wish I had more free time.
You are talking about something you really want right now.
You might say, I want coffee.
So, let's summarize today's lesson. Want, used for direct desires. Example, I want a sandwich.
Would like, used for polite requests or plans. Example, I'd like a sandwich.
Wish, used for unreal, imaginary, or difficult situations. Example, I wish I had a sandwich.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode.
We hope this conversation helped you clearly understand the difference between wish, want, and would like.
If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new, don't forget to follow the podcast and share it with a friend who is also learning English.
And here's a small challenge for you. Write one sentence using wish, one sentence using want, and one sentence using would like.
Practice like this is the best way to improve your English.
Thank you for listening to Talk Emma, the English podcast.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.